Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Gemini Full Moon Festival meeting here in New York. We work tonight in this planetary center within the full tide of the building energies towards the full moon, which occurs tomorrow morning at 3:44. This festival, as you know, is the culminating festivals of this year's dynamic higher interlude period, coinciding with the hierarchical conclave. Each year during the Gemini festival, the time of safeguarding, which is generally understood as the day of the full moon itself, is extended into 3 days. This is a reflection of the potency of this full moon and its synthetic nature. The energy generated at this festival provides the group this year with the opportunity to work together within a fuller alignment within the 3 planetary centers on these 3 days. An alignment which is perhaps greater than what we have ever been able to participate in within our lifetimes. And this alignment permits entry into our planetary life of extraplanetary energies that are significant for the future, resulting in significant changes all along the chain of hierarchy. We know that the full moon is a time of the thinning of the veils which normally separate the inner and outer worlds. These veils ordinarily protect humanity, but at these full moon opportunities, their thinning permits a touch of potent energies that are otherwise unavailable, in order that humanity can more fully participate in raising the vibratory rate of the planet. Through these rhythmic interlude periods of the new and full moons, we cooperate in the working out of the divine plan. And as a result, with each passing year, the consciousness of people is becoming increasingly responsive to Aquarian energies, with all that this entails. Each generation, each 10 years, we might say, the souls that are coming in are more responsive to these energies. Increasing numbers of people today, therefore, are awakening and responding to the light, to the call of hierarchy, and also to the cry of humanity. Disciples stand with a foot in both realms, reaching above, below, and all around, all the time, widening the channel through which the energies flow. The widespread outpouring of prayer and supplication that is constantly issuing forth from the religious and spiritual groups can be focalized and directed by those who stand within the heart center of the new group of world servers. This spiritual flowering is particularly visible within Christianity today, with many people turning towards the Christ. This trend is surely an outer manifestation of the descent of the Christ energy as we move towards the externalization and the eventual reappearance of the Christ. So as we always do at the beginning of our meetings, let us now take a moment within the alignment of these available energies, linking with our group brothers here and there throughout the world, using our creative imagination to visualize ourselves standing on the periphery of the solemn events which are being held on each of these 3 days in the sacred valley in the east, followed by a sounding of the Gayatri. It's an ancient prayer which pays homage to the Son of Righteousness who comes forth with healing in his wings. O thou who givest sustenance to the universe, from whom all things proceed, to whom all things return, unveil to us the face of the true spiritual sun, hidden by a disk of golden light, that we may know the truth and do our whole duty as we journey to thy sacred feet. Om. The June full moon each year sees the opportunity of love reaching its highest point of expression within the entire annual cycle. This love of God serves to link humanity at the level of the soul, engendering a synthesis within the entire zodiacal wheel, and through that means creating a unified field through which the inpouring energies can be received. Through the Gemini constellation, there pours the greatest influx of second ray energies within the annual cycle. And these energies are particularly focused on our tiny, non-sacred planet Earth. Disciples in all nations of the world are asked to stand as outposts of these energies, of this love, and use them to evoke the soul of their nation, and then link their national soul with the soul of all other nations, forming a unified field through which the Christ can pour out the energies received at Wesak in a healing of the nations. We can hold this expectation in our minds and hearts during these sacred days. All along the chain of hierarchy, the sign of Gemini fosters the resolution of duality into a fluid synthesis. The love nature of Gemini creates the field through which synthesis can be expressed. And this synthesis has a mass impact, we're told, earlier than its impact on individuals, due to the tremendous potency of the vibrations and the stage of human evolutionary development. This energy helps us make the shift from duality to synthesis. And it depends, of course, on the consciousness of the entities, microcosmic or macrocosmic, who are being impacted. All lives seek eventual harmony when they recognize the need. But such recognitions generally come through pain and the sense of limitation, which leads to the desire to break free into greater light, sensing the need of the soul for fuller expression and the need of others for light and love. We can see the opportunity of planet Earth and its path of pain and suffering, which fosters this more rapid evolutionary development as humanity learns to rise to the occasion of the challenges of the path rather than succumbing to them. Christ expressed this need for breakdown prior to breakthrough when he taught that new wine could not be poured into old bottles. One of the recognized limitations of the present stage of human development is illustrated by the lower keynote of Gemini under the rulership of the lower expression of the ruling planet Mercury. This keynote reads, "And the word said, let instability do its work." And so, since Gemini rules in all of the signs, all of us have to struggle with this instability. Humanity has been subject to the powerful impacts from Shambhala starting in 1825. This energy has been pouring into many unprepared and fragile vehicles. And this, coupled with the uncertainty and the challenges of life at this time, has generated much fear and constant instability. Many people are suffering terribly under the weight of the unredeemed forces that have been let loose. And it is the responsibility of the new group of world servers who can more adequately handle this inpouring energies to aid the hierarchy by transmuting these energies so they can aid in creating the needed stability that will allow humanity to rise and flourish, which is our birthright. But also, the new group itself has the challenge of working within these fiery energies, maintaining our ability to stand amidst them. The keynote, on the other hand, for the disciple in Gemini is I recognize my other self. And in the waning of that self, I grow and glow, highlighting the fact that in order for the soul to control, there must be a recognition of that which inhibits soul growth. This recognition of the lower self's limitations frees the higher self to illumine the lower. But such recognitions of the lower self, sometimes called the dweller aspect, can be challenging, for so often we're unable to see the lower self clearly due to our limitations, our rationalizations, and the distortions of our lower mind. The concrete nature of the mind is such that it doesn't easily look beyond its known and often limited field of vision, and instead remains trapped within the fogs and mists of thought forms that cloud perceptions, particularly at such times as this, when there is a profound withering of the law. This ability to see beyond the limitations of one's perceptions can be achieved through the use of the analytical faculty of the mind, which increasingly brings about the ability to distinguish truth from falsity, a key Gemini need. For the challenge of discrimination was highlighted in the Gemini labor of Hercules. Hercules began the labor intent upon his mission, having successfully passed an initial period of testing in the previous labor. As a result of this success, he became overconfident, sure of himself, and this glamour clouded his perceptions and obscured his way. And as a result, he was initially unable to recognize the key opportunities which crossed his path that were standing right before him. Here we see the need to enter into that higher intuitive quality of Gemini and its fluidity and openness of mind, rather than remaining fixed and bullheaded, which was one of the challenges in the preceding Taurus labor. This initial failure in Geminis came from the inability to discern correctly and recognize an individual who was sent to Hercules by his soul to aid him on his path. As a consequence of his blindness, he subsequently became caught in the tangled web of another individual who was compelling at the level of the personality, but who ultimately led him astray and wasted time. An example of this challenge could be seen in Alice Bailey's initial reaction to being contacted by a voice that asked her to work with him in the writing of some books. She adamantly refused, not wanting anything to do with that which she perceived to be a form of lower psychism, only to have the Tibetan respond with a wise person did not make snap judgments. Perhaps in this world of instantaneous media exchanges, we are likewise prone to be making snap judgments and thereby closing ourselves off to the possibility of entering into a wider realm of truth. We would all benefit from stepping back and giving consideration to that which might lie beyond our preconceived notions. Alice Bailey fortunately did overcome her hesitations and decided to work with the Tibetan. And as Hercules continued on his way, other types of detours deterred him, but these were the so-called detours sent by the soul, which involved helping others, which he begrudgingly undertook at first, but which served to develop his compassion and his ability to serve more fully. During this transition period, the ability to discriminate is tested by a world awash with technologies in the hands of influencers and sophisticated propaganda tools, some being successfully used to uplift and educate, while others are being used to mislead and distort. This situation challenges each of us in our ability to distinguish the real from the unreal. Everyone seems to have a market on the truth. And as challenging as this condition can be, perhaps it is a necessary challenge that will ultimately aid humanity to think and determine for itself the way that it must go. I heard about an alternative school in Texas which had as a mainstay of its curriculum the task of encouraging and helping young students to develop their discrimination and their ability to determine truth from falsity, and to consider the results of their actions and the motives underlying them. Gemini is said to embody the cosmic Christ, standing at the apex of a vast triangle that conditions our entire solar system. The other 2 points of the triangle are the Great Bear, or the father aspect, and the Pleiades, the mother aspect. Gemini stands as the sun, or the soul, and as a protective veil for the great and potent second ray star Sirius. Groups today, we're told, are responding to the Sirian influence pouring into our planetary life through Gemini and also through Leo, through the heart of the sun, and then through the Christ himself, who stands as a Sirian avatar. It is this influence, this Sirian flow, that is strengthening, we're told, the interconnectedness of the many groups in the bonds of brotherhood and goodwill. So when the sun passes through Gemini each year with this ever-present overshadowing triangle, it's stimulated, and so is synthesis in the world. One of the most important aspects in the teachings of esoteric astrology is the focus placed on the merging of each sign with its opposite. In this work of merging, Gemini holds the key role, standing as a soul or unifier between spirit and matter in each pair of opposites in the zodiac. And the Tibetan does indicate that in the future, there should be eventually only 6 signs. They will be merged so perfectly. Gemini's synthesizing work here makes it one of the most important signs of the zodiac, where it unifies the pairs of opposites. We're all, therefore, colored by this energy of Gemini. And at this time, at this full moon, this energy is stimulating us all to come into union at the soul level. And under this influence, that which was previously separated becomes recognized as just what is needed in order to become whole. So merge with your opposite sign. When the sun moves through the Gemini-Sagittarius axis, the 3rd point of the triangle becomes Pisces, the ultimate sign of synthesis. So we can see here in the potent opportunity of the synthesizing energies available during this Gemini festival, and for those who are born in that axis, and the opportunities it holds out to humanity to align with the Christ energy, the great second ray Lord. Another aspect of the auspicious synthesizing nature of the Gemini festival stems from the fact that Venus is the esoteric ruling planet in this sign. Venus, we're told, will increasingly become recognized as a key astrological influence, and its cycles will be carefully observed in the Aquarian age, and this is beginning to happen now. It would seem that eventually Venus's rhythmic dance with the earth in their journey around the sun will be recognized as a higher form of interlude within which humanity can participate, merging with its soul. During the month of June each year, the light of Venus waxes strong. Venus, as we know, is understood as the opposite polarity to Earth, standing as the soul to the Earth's personality. So these cycles are extremely important. Eons ago, Venus was said to have provided Earth with perfect laws, which were disregarded, hence the sequential withering of the law that has found such an open door on our planet. As Earth comes into increasing alignment with this overshadowing influence of Venus, conditions will be created for the implementation of new laws under divine guidance that will no longer be rejected. They will be recognized, and they will provide the foundation stones for the new and coming civilization. Guided by divine law, Earth will find its way into the ranks of the sacred planets, and the whole solar system will be lifted up as Earth becomes a great station of light. During this month of June, we're asked to make appeal to the forces of light so that aspects of the divine plan can work out. The cosmic energies pouring through the Gemini-Sagittarius axis are auspicious for our planet because the Earth rules in both these signs, and the energies are less filtered as they enter into our planetary life directly, and much light pours in at this time as we move towards the solstice. We can visualize the Earth standing midway between the cosmic stream of these great constellational lives, pouring through the bullseye, the symbol of the Earth, lifting the planet into the light, leading to diversity and synthesis. The impact of the balancing process being undergone on Earth is highlighted in a passage from the old commentary, which holds out the promise of this position. When the dual forces of the cosmic brothers, Gemini, become the energy of the one who rides towards the light, Sagittarius, then the fourth becomes the fifth. Humanity, the link, becomes the hierarchy, the bestower of all good. Then all the sons of God rejoice. Now we're, now we're preparing for our meditation, letting in the light. And we'll start with the keynote for the full moon approach to the hierarchy. He who faces the light and stands within its radiance is blinded to the issues of the world of men. He passes on the lighted way to the great center of absorption. But he who feels the urge to pass that way, yet loves his brother on the darkened path, revolves upon the pedestal of light and turns the other way. He faces towards the dark, and then the 7 points of light within himself transmit the outward streaming light. And lo, the face of those upon the darkened way receives that light. For them, the way is not so dark. Behind the warriors, twixt the light and dark, blazes the light of hierarchy. And we come together in group fusion and integration within the heart center of the new group of world servers, mediating between hierarchy and humanity. I am one with my group brothers, and all that I have is theirs. May the love which is in my soul pour forth to them. May the strength which is in me lift and aid them. May the thoughts which my soul creates reach and encourage them. Alignment. We project a line of lighted energy towards the spiritual hierarchy of the planet, the planetary heart, the great ashram of Sanat Kumara, and towards the Christ at the heart of hierarchy. And now we extend the alignment towards Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known. Your interlude. Hold the contemplative mind open to the extraplanetary energy streaming into Shambhala, radiated through hierarchy. Using the creative imagination, endeavor to see the three planetary centers, Shambhala, hierarchy, and humanity, gradually coming into alignment and interplay. meditation. Reflect on the seed thought for Gemini. I recognize my other self, and in the waning of that self, I grow and glow. Precipitation. Using the creative imagination, visualize the energies of light, love, and the will to good pouring throughout the planet and becoming anchored on Earth in prepared physical plane centers through which the plan can manifest. Use the sixfold progression of divine love as the sequence of energy precipitation. Shambhala, hierarchy, the Christ, the new group of world servers, men and women of goodwill everywhere in the world, physical centers of distribution. Lower interlude. Refocus the consciousness as a group within the periphery of the great ashram and sound the affirmation of love. In the center of all love, I stand. From that center, I, the soul, will outward move. From that center, I, the one who serves, will work. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad in my heart, through my group, and throughout the world. Visualize the downpouring spiritual inflow released from Shambhala through the hierarchy, streaming into humanity through the prepared channel. Consider how these inpouring energies are establishing the pathway of light for the coming world teacher, the Christ. Distribution. As the great invocation is sounded, visualize the outpouring of light, love, and power from the spiritual hierarchy through the 5 planetary inlets: London, Darjeeling, New York, Geneva, Tokyo, irradiating the consciousness of the whole human race. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. may Christ return to earth from the center where the will of God is known. Let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Oh. Thank you, everyone. So just a couple of announcements. A reminder that the exact time of the full moon occurs at 3:44 this morning, this coming morning. And tomorrow is being celebrated worldwide as World Invocation Day. And we're going to have a special webinar that will begin at 1 p.m. in New York time. So we hope that as many of you as possible can join in with that. And then our upcoming new moon, the Cancer new moon, will be on Tuesday, June 24th at 6 p.m. And then the following full moon will be the Festival of Cancer, held on Wednesday, July 9th, again at 6 p.m. So thank you all for your contributions to this festival period, which is drawing to a close as we move through World Invocation Day and the days of distribution, which we might like to visualize as continuing until the solstice. So thank you all and have a good night.